Alright guys, UFC 321 has just taken place, and yes, I sound like arse. I am absolutely knackered because I'm in Australia, the card was in UAE, basically did an all-nighter, and it's been a hectic weekend. But we go on, we have to do the recap, and when it comes to this recap, we went 6 out of 12 on the predictions of this card. Had some very close decisions like Volkov and Almeida, and Delgado and Wood, which was a great fight, and we'll get into all of those, but they just did sway away from me. But great fights nevertheless. But this card has had a bit of everything, which we will get into all the notable parts of the card, and I'll also list out my fight card awards. Kicking it off with the main event, Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. Definitely not what we're expecting out of this fight. Of course, Ciryl Gane eye pokes Tom Aspinall, robbing us of any kind of finish on either end. Obviously, mainly Aspinall finishing Gane, but this has a lot of tell moving forward into the heavyweight division, because that eye poke literally has stifled a lot. I mean, Tom Aspinall is going to have to wait. He's going to have to get a rematch most likely with Ciryl Gane. And the big reason why I say rematch, and you know, you guys might be saying, why the hell does Ciryl Gane deserve that? He's just fouled him. You know, he's had undeserved title shots in the past. The reason why is because Ciryl Gane was winning that fight. He was winning that fight. He used that jab so nicely, busted up Tom's nose, and yeah, Tom just didn't have any real big moments of brilliance. Gane was looking really good along the outside, as I was saying in the predictions. He just handled it really, really well, did not let Tom Aspinall close the distance effectively, and we were really about to cut into that second round. So yeah, Gane didn't really show anything bad in that fight, except obviously, you know, literally making Tom Aspinall clinically blind, which from the eye pokes, I completely understand as to why the fight was called. Like, especially when they did the close-up, it was bad. Like, both eyes as well. Understand Tom Aspinall is pissed, and I think there's a lot going on there in terms of just the mentality of him, you know, the overshadowing of Jon Jones. You know, Jon Jones was obviously eagle-eyeing this fight, licking his lips at the fact that he could not finish Ciryl Gane for one. He didn't get the win that he wanted, and that Ciryl Gane was winning the fight. And now Jon Jones has done two things instantly. He's gone and changed his profile picture to his duck with an eye patch on it, and he has now also called out Alex Pereira, has accepted Alex Pereira's call out for the White House. Will he get that? It's a lot more likely now. A lot more likely, since Tom Aspinall did not have a great performance in that first round. Dana White said that he was losing that fight in the post-fight press conference, and we need to see the result of him versus Ciryl Gane, and it makes it so much more dirty anyway at the top of the heavyweight division. It's just a hell of a mess, because we've got Volkov, who's also won. He's beaten Jailton Almeida, and Ciryl Gane basically robbed him, and now do we get Volkov over Ciryl Gane now? And Dana White actually saying, yep, you know what, Volkov should be getting the shot now, right now, and leave Ciryl Gane on the back burner. Well, can he, when Ciryl Gane was arguably beating the undisputed heavyweight champion? So it's a hell of a mess of a division. The division's dog shit anyway, but it's, you know, it's really, really messy at the moment. So we've got a huge, like, sandstorm at the top between Alex Pereira, Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane, and Tom Aspinall. So we're going to really just see what happens. But I think Tom Aspinall, he's going to have to face that rematch against Ciryl Gane probably early next year. I think he's going to want to get that back real quick. And I think Ciryl Gane's going to have a bit of a veil of confidence moving into the next fight, which I think is just going to make it better. And Tom Aspinall is going to learn things from those first 3 to 4 minutes of that fight, because he was not winning it. So I think we need to see that fight booked for early next year to really get this division moving again, because it is just insane how much bad luck this division really has. Next up down the card, we got the co-main event, the title win for strawweight of Mackenzie Dern beating Virna Jandiroba. I personally had Mackenzie Dern winning 49-46. I predicted Virna Jandiroba to get the decision here, and if you utilize her wrestling more heavily, she honestly could have, especially, I have no idea why Virna Jandiroba was letting Mackenzie Dern back up. Mackenzie Dern was ultimately more active absolutely everywhere, but she was the most impressive on the feet. She was stringing much longer combinations together. Jandiroba had really nice leg kicks and was using really nice straight shots as she normally does, but just when it comes to overall volume and output, Mackenzie Dern just runs circles around her. Whether they had this fight or not, the statistics are just the statistics. So that's where Mackenzie Dern just really ran riot when it came to it. Just the sheer volume overall versus the control of Jandiroba. It's going to be similar to when we talk about the Almeida versus Volkov fight. It was just the activity of Mackenzie Dern off her back, positioning herself in different ways, getting back up from those takedowns as well. Then also going through the championship rounds and stuffing the takedowns of Virna Jandiroba too, and also getting her own in the championship rounds as well. It just simply was so much more volume, more activity from Mackenzie Dern, and now the UFC have a champion who is more active now. She's just active in the cage and obviously getting fights outside of the cage now, and she's marketable with her assets as well. So that's what the UFC is going to want. They want someone with name value, especially in a division that struggles for name value unless you have Weili there. And yeah, I think Mackenzie Dern 100% deserved it. You could argue 48-47 from one of the scorecards if you really give it to Jandiroba on control. I predicted Jandiroba, and I think it was a 49-46. She just slowed down too much in the championship rounds. I will say that Mackenzie Dern, though, needs takedown defense work. If she goes up against girls like Tatiana Suarez, or if Weili comes back down, she's going to struggle. She's going to struggle real hard, even though she's active, but she is just going to struggle there. And I think Virna Jandiroba, ultimately, I don't think she had her best performance. She should have hunted more submissions for sure, and she should have never allowed Mackenzie Dern to get back up. She let it happen like 3 different times, and by doing that, you could see she was getting so much more tired on the feet. Now, I think that we are going to get Mackenzie Dern versus Zhang Weili. It's a great fight. It's marketable, and obviously that's a telltale that I believe that Weili is going to lose against Valentina Shevchenko in her next fight. I think it's going to be very, very close, and the odds are a pick'em, but I just think with the size advantage, Shevchenko's takedown defense and her better striking overall, I think she's going to be able to take that, just the sheer size especially. And then on the other side, I think when we look at Dern, I just don't really see her getting through Weili, especially with that wrestling pedigree that Weili has and how active she is offensively at just getting either submissions or KO, TKO. She's got power there. She's very fast. I mean, she's kind of just the complete strawweight package, to be honest. And I see that around July or August next year after, obviously, Weili loses. Dern's going to need a bit of time off. She took a bit of damage. But overall, honestly, a very entertaining fight, better than the fucking main event. So, yeah, the co-main event was very good, but I think the UFC got what they wanted in getting Mackenzie Dern as the strawweight title holder, which she definitely deserved. Moving down, we had Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista. Now, this is definitely arguable as fight of the night for me, but guys, we just seriously got to put some, just even like a milliliter of respect on Mario Bautista's name, especially as a damn 6-1 dog. Like, Umar Nurmagomedov got a 30-27. He definitely won the fight. His transitional ability on the ground and his wrestling was fantastic, and his cardio looked great across 3 rounds. But Bautista almost put his fucking chin straight through into the shadow realm with a knee timed perfectly. And Bautista landed the best shot of the fight. He looked very impressive on the feet, matching Umar Nurmagomedov at boxing range. And the scrambles were arguably more impressive from Mario Bautista than they were from Corey Sandhagen in their main event in the middle of the year. So, like, honestly, it really, really was impressive. Like, all middle of last year, technically. But yeah, Mario Bautista, I honestly have to say, like, he really, really brought the fight. And with him almost chinning Umar, I think that this fight can only gain him fans because he had a very active fight. He had a lot of volume. So did Umar on the other side. Takes 2 to tango, but their scrambles were great. It wasn't just like Umar could just hold Mario down for 15 minutes. Mario got back up again and again and again, really brought the fight the whole entire time. Like, I really liked the fight from both of them. Respect to both of them, honestly, plain and simply. Umar Nurmagomedov, I think he's going to get that Merab fight back. I think that he did enough in this fight to get it. Considering the landscape of the bantamweight division, I think he did. Umar obviously got the household name. and had the most competitive fight against Merab as well. So he's going to get that one back. Whether it's him fighting Merab or if Petr Yan does manage to beat Merab, then he could fight Yan because they have history as well. They don't get along either. So I see that for mid next year either way. The cardio and the wrestling were really peak for Umar, and if he's going to fight Merab again, we just need to see that through the championship rounds, and he stands a real good chance of beating Merab Dvalishvili. Next up, we got to look at Aleksander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. Now this, as I said previously in that intro, it could have gone either way here, to be honest, and I did predict Almeida to win by a decision, and he did have a great amount of control time, but I'm just not mad about Volkov. Firstly, getting my upset of the night award as an almost 3-1 dog. I just really like the principle of this fight because it was just a really good example of trying to push damage over control on the scorecards. And yes, in terms of like quantitative data, it's easier to judge on control than damage because damage has so many variables. Like if you've got a guy like Marlon Vera who barely bleeds and you land like 400 shots on him versus a guy from like the fucking UK or just someone that's white and they get cut up by like a paper cut. Yeah, it's a really, really big difference when it comes to how the damage is going to be scored because people just get damaged differently depending on just literally their genetics, like it's how tough their skin is. So it really is tricky there. And then you got scar tissue between different fighters as well. So it is hard to judge, but that's getting into the nitty-gritty of it. I think when we look at control of Almeida, he's doing absolutely fucking nothing but blanketing Volkov, and Volkov is in his, so he's in guard and he's landing shots. That's a neutral position. Volkov should be winning that. Pretty much. Like, you score the takedown for Almeida, but as soon as it gets to the ground, when Volkov is landing shots and Almeida is just lying there, Volkov's winning that position, even if he is on top, especially when it comes to guard. When Jailton is in Volkov's guard, it's a neutral position. So, ultimately, I don't mind. Literally don't mind Volkov winning at all. You know, he's got that split decision justice now, which is really good for him. But, you know, he's got to have a title shot as well, but he's going to have to wait. He's going to have to wait because we know about the absolute clusterfuck between Tom, Gane, Jones, and Pereira now. We need to wait for all of that to settle down. We need Jones and Pereira to settle it at the White House. If Dana even lets that happen, then we need the Tom and Gane rematch, which after seeing that first round, we don't know which way it could honestly go. So he's going to be waiting a bit, and that's where he's just, it's hard for Volkov, man. And he's not getting any younger either. Like, it is really difficult for him. I really just hope he gets a title shot, win or lose, at some damn point while he's still looking good. And then Almeida on the other side, I mean, he did look good as well. Like, he looked great. You can argue that he did win, but he just needs more activity and needs to trust in his hands more. Timed a great straight right off takedown in round 2. Like, why aren't you trusting more in that initial boxing base that you have? It just absolutely bewilders me, to be honest. And I think that he needs to be fighting the winner of Waldo Cortez Acosta and Ante Delia, which is taking place next weekend. I believe it's the co-main event of Garcia versus Onama. Yeah, fighting the winner of that, both of those guys, I think can make a very entertaining fight for Almeida there. So yeah, I think just make that, like, it really could have gone either way, but even though I had Jailton as my prediction, I'm happy Volkov won this, honestly, and got something back. Now, to close off the main card, I do have to give a shout out to the main card opener of Azamat Murzakanov beating Aleksander Rakic. Got the perfect prediction here. Azamat Murzakanov just called it when it came to his boxing. Like, especially against a guy like Rakic, the boxing specific pedigree, there's just a huge contrast between them. Firstly, Murzakanov holds so much more power in his hands than Rakic does at boxing range. When Rakic is at kickboxing range, that's when he has a shit ton of power. But closing off that distance, which Murzakanov did, Rakic just isn't going to survive. And the power and technical ability within the hands of Azamat is just on full display. Took Rakic out with a jab in the first round. He's just looking perfect at the moment. He really is the dark horse of the light heavyweight division. If he has his way, he could be a champion. Honestly, will not be surprised. Him closing the distance against anyone, like, he can only really be challenged by Olberg and challenged by possibly Khalil in terms of the pacing of their fight, and Alex Pereira. He can honestly 1v1 win in boxing against any of these guys in the light heavyweight top 15. He's just that good, has that much power, has really tight striking, and with a reach of 71 inches, like the way that he's able to make up that ground effectively, his footwork is insanely underrated. Really, really good. And I think he either needs the winner of Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov, which is happening in December at UFC 323, or he fights Khalil Roundtree mid next year, because both are short, both are stocky, both have power, both have strike speed. I will give you my money. That would be a fantastic fight. Now, next up for my fight of the night, I've got to give it to Nate Wood versus Jose Delgado, which I predicted as my fight of the night. As I said, you could give it to Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista, but these guys really just delivered as expected. There were knockdowns on each side. I mean, neither of them jumped off the gas the entire time. Delgado had the beautiful spinning elbow, dropped Nate Wood in that first round. Nate Wood came out of fucking hell in that first round to bring it back. And you could argue a 29-28 either way, to be honest. It was just a really good scrap, ultimately. Like, it was just really, really good. There was high output the whole entire fight. Great boxing combinations from both of them. Just both of them literally like advancing at the same time, just going into firefights. Delgado, even though he lost, I mean, he's obviously got to come back and make sure he's making weight, but he's still so young. He's got so much talent. Like, he's so good on the ground. He showed that in this fight to an extent as well. And he's knocked down every single one of his opponents in the UFC, all 4 of them. It's just really, really impressive. And Nate Wood, surviving that first round, I mean, winning this fight as an underdog. He's beaten really, really good damn guys, man. Beating Delgado, beating guys like Morgan Charrier. Like, he's someone that needs a lot of respect on his name, and I think it's got to be time. I think he should be fighting Dan Ige for a ranking position, possibly Giga Chikadze early to mid next year. Like, he's on like a 7-odd fight win streak, I think, or something like that. Like, he's got a lot of decisions, but you just can't take away from the caliber of opposition that he's beating. He needs to be having a top 15 fight. I'm here for it. Now, let's clean up the recap with the absolute kill shot that came from Quillan Salkilld in the feature prelim. He got the head kick over the guard of Nasrat Haqparast, just peeked over the guard, and that's all he needed, because he just absolutely flatlined Nasrat, folded him like a lawn chair, flat as a sack of shit that you stand on in a cow paddock. Dead. Nasrat Haqparast and Quillan Salkilld came in on 10 days notice, and this kind of performance happens from one of them. Quillan Salkilld is not only going to be getting my Finish of the Night award here, clearly, but is also getting my Fighter to Watch award, because the guy is still a prospect. He's barely been in the UFC. He's taking out guys with 6 to 7 fight win streaks, are the most underrated guys in the lightweight division, with ease. Just ridiculous. Like, the fact that he was able to do that against Nasrat, who has such great timing, great distance awareness, everything when it comes to his striking game, and Quillan Salkilld was able to use that opposite stance to his advantage perfectly, get that kick over the guard, and just absolutely annihilated him. And I can't keep fucking doubting him, because, I mean, I've literally gone against him 3 times now, and on 10 days notice, for a guy that could not stop bugging the UFC for a fight, gets a fight, they shut him up, give him a fight, and then he delivers that. The guy has just taken out one of the most underrated guys in lightweight, with ease for starters. And I know guys that train with Quillan Salkilld, and yes, he's mainly known for his wrestling activity, but he is just rounding out his game like crazy, which we can clearly bloody see. And I've seen people say that he should get Rafael Fiziev, like, right now. There's been a bunch of posts about it in the MMA space, which I think would be fantastic. It'd be super entertaining on the feet, and especially that wrestling pedigree, to see if he can really drive through someone that is of top 5 quality in the lightweight division, to see if his wrestling's that legit. But I think it's still a bit early for him, to be honest. And beating a guy like Nasrat Haqparast, who is absolutely no joke, I would be happy to see him in a top 15 eliminator fight, versing either Mauricio Hufi, who's in that 15th position, or Ignacio Bahamondes. Mauricio Hufi, obviously, with that striking pedigree, going against a guy with this much power, be interesting to see if he uses those flashy techniques against Quillan Salkilld, who is knocked out guys dead.
knocked out Anshul Jubilee, the absolute king of MMA, and obviously Nasrat Haqparast with ease. So it'd be very interesting to see how he goes in that fight, and if he can really pull off all of his striking, which I don't think he could. I think it'd be very similar to the Benoit Saint Denis fight because of Quillan's output when it comes to his takedown offense. I think that's a great matchup there. And then Ignacio Bahamondes, I mean, just the flashy kicks, like just the striking on the feet from the both of them would be awesome. And then seeing how Ignacio would deal with the takedowns as well. Honestly, either of them, take my bloody money. Like, this is literally the lightweight prospect that you have to be looking out for now. Australian bias easily aside, this guy is fucking legit. Now, I really hope you enjoyed the UFC 321 fight card. I really hope you enjoyed this recap as well. Please let me know what your guys' big thoughts are on the card in the comments below. And if you haven't already, definitely check out the video just here on the screen. And please like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way for the channel. And I will catch you in the next one.